G'day there, ladies and Ledians. Today I wanted to start a series where I look at the roadblocks in the Pokemon games and decide how good they are. That's right, today we're doing a tier list. The tier list is going to focus on the world building aspects of the mainline games. Do each roadblock make sense in that universe? That kind of thing. Roadblocks are going to be anything that prevents you from travelling freely or entering any building. They need to be a temporary thing to be considered on this list, otherwise bodies of water and other field hasten obstacles will fill out this list. We're not concerned about the steps to counter each roadblock, we are just seeing if they make sense as obstacles. Also, to keep the tier list from clutter, the badge check people for the leagues are not included, otherwise we'll be here all day. With all that out of the way, let's begin. So, first we should talk about my tier list. I am not really a fan of A's and B's and so on. It makes it hard to know what the tier list means from looking at it, and so here are the categories. We have completely reasonable. Basically a pretty good in-universe obstacle. Makes sense in the story or why it's there. Just overall a good example of what is good for immersion. Secondly, we have but why here. It is somewhat reasonable, it's just that roadblock does not make sense here, or it'll be fine if one step to the left kind of thing. Placed in the right spot to prevent the player by not really making sense in the world. Next we have really illogical. This can be justified but is really inefficient or not the most sensible thing to do. Rewrites the world is next. These are illogical roadblocks where, for it to make sense, the perspective on the entire world needs to change. And lastly, there is no good excuse. Whatever excuse is given is not good enough in universe. Okay, so let's start in chronological order, shall we? First up is the Old Man in Ledians. You might think the grass is Power Town, but it isn't really a roadblock. Nothing is preventing you from travelling there, it just triggers an event. Our first roadblock is this old man that does not let you pass. Depending on the game and translation, he either hasn't had his coffee, is drunk, or cares about his property. And so we are going to be placing him in the rewriting world category. Look, this can make sense if we believe that the world is just that small. A potentially dangerous man blocking a street is reasonable. We just have to assume that this small amount of space is the bottleneck street of a city. There's no way around him, you know? Does not make sense for our world, so it has to rewrite the world to make sense. Second in Viridian is the gym. The gym leader is not here. And that's the entirety of the reason. I get that they technically would have lives, but they should have a notice or something. Substitute gym leaders maybe, I don't know. Sure, you are supposed to get the gym leaders in some order, but in that world there isn't really anything stopping you from challenging that one first. This is not a good enough excuse. Future City is here, and there is a kid that really wants you to battle Brock. So much that he won't let you leave and escorts you there. Quick and easy, this is not a good excuse for stopping you. Your main goal is Pokedex. This kid is just conscripting you to battle and get a taste of blood. Ah yes, the home in Cerulean City. At first glance this makes sense as a police officer is blocking entrance to a crime scene. Good work. Until you realise why this is an important roadblock. Besides Cut, this is the only way out of the city. The only way. Before the hole was put into home, Cerulean City was isolated. Can't get access to Mount Moon because of that ledge, and can't travel outside the city. This rewrites the entire world to say that people can only travel, can only trade, and get logistics through this one guy's home? Very ridiculous indeed. Before Saffron City is a guard station. I'll cover all four here together, cause why not? They each deny entry because of a sore throat. I've got an entire video talking about this roadblock, and so you can watch it for more info, but to cut it short, this, while somewhat plausible, is a very illogical reason. Our first Pokemon roadblock is up, and it's the Snorlax near Vermilion City, and Lavender Town. It makes sense that Snorlax would be able to block a path, but this spot seems kinda weird. They are more of a madness Pokemon, so it being here on the boardwalk is highly questionable. So it goes in the but why here segment. Preventing travel without the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town is an unidentifiable ghost. Now I get that ghosts don't exist in our world, as far as we are aware, but I can believe it in the Pokemon world. Meeting special equipment to battle ghosts surprisingly makes sense, and it preventing travel also makes sense. This is a completely reasonable roadblock. Another Snorlax, another spot on the tier list. Basically everything I said about the previous Snorlax, but this time it makes more sense. Completely reasonable you go. Team Rocket preventing access to Saffron City buildings is a bit weird. I get that a violent takeover or a hostage situation makes sense, barricading important entry points and all that. What I don't get is why the gym is so easily overrun. Surely Sabrina will destroy the poison type Pokemon that Team Rockets have, right? With enough power though, this does make sense, and so it joins the Ghost and Snorlax number 2 at being completely reasonable. Now, a roadblock can exist in more places than one, but I'm doing my best to put them in a category that overall encompasses that roadblock. You might say illogical or world breaking, and while I do agree to an extent, I say that it is more reasonable than it isn't. Okay, you all remember how the cinema gym is locked. Isn't that kinda weird? You're telling me that someone locked the door and threw away the key into the burnt out mansion? Or maybe that key is back up or something? But in any case, this is a terrible excuse for a roadblock. If there was someone purposefully hiding a key, that would be something, but as it stands, there is no excuse for this. That's all of the roadblocks except for one. Technically, this would have been earlier once he got surfed, but I'll put it here based on the location. Our last roadblock is Cerulean Cave. I was really debating this one. Sure, it makes sense that only champions should enter, as it is a difficult cave, but also, why not just leave it alone? Narratively, the only reason you have to go in there is to battle a Cave Mewtwo. Basically, to disturb a powerful Pokemon that, for all intents and purposes, is doing nothing wrong. It's not planning to take over the world or anything, and it could be argued that it maintains balance as the apex Pokemon. Really, the cave should just be closed off for everyone. No good comes from interfering. It's not a terrible roadblock, but its existence is highly illogical. And so there we have it. All roadblocks in Kanto have been given a grade based off how much of a good roadblock they are in the games, and also, I guess, the universe. Did I miss any obstacles? Do you agree with where each of them are placed? Would you like to see other regions get the same treatment? You can let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.